Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. So this is the first show after the Christmas. We're going to be coming a little bit later on, later on to give you a post-game instant reaction. Yeah, Arsenal versus West Ham. But I thought I'd do this show. Some transfer news, some news in regards to a particular iconic captain at Arsenal. You're probably thinking, what is he talking about? Well, we're going to get into this one on the other side of this music intro. Yes, welcome back again to Cannon Fodder TV, the first live show after Christmas. And I hope you had a happy holidays or a happy Christmas. But yeah, we kind of had a good one over here in Cannon Fodder TV land with family and friends and some friends and family. But yeah, it's going to be a short show. We're going to get some transfer news spoken about. I think, yeah, and some news in regards to an iconic captain at Arsenal. But I will talk about that part towards the end of the show. So the first bit of news actually is in regards to Kevin Campbell. Kevin Campbell, they've kind of spoken about we might need to sell a £16 million player to get Ivan Toney in a ruthless move. So yeah, former Arsenal striker Kevin Campbell has now shared his thoughts on Mikel Arteta's squad heading to the January transfer window. It's a delicate situation for the Gunners. They do rock the boat with a big sign in the January transfer window. They do also just trust their current crop of players to achieve the lofty ambitions to win the Premier League for the first time in over 20 years. Now, it's not easy call, but Kevin Campbell has certainly made up his mind. Speaking on a particular radio station with Dean Saunders this morning, Campbell has is convinced that Arteta needed to free up some funds for his Arsenal squad in January, and that involves selling the beloved Emil Smith Rowe. Yeah, a player who could actually might be available to play tonight, although I don't think so. But initially, Dean Saunders said Smith Rowe isn't getting a sniff, is he? They could use that as a vehicle to get under the financial fair play situation. Now, Campbell did reply by saying that there are some tradable pieces you don't want to see the Smith Rowe leave the club. A young player coming through the ranks, but if you're going for a title, you have to be ruthless. If you can move and shake a couple of players, and then create an opportunity to get someone like Ivan Toney, that's what you have to do. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are about the potential thought of the thought of having to sell Emil Smith Rowe. I wouldn't say it fits uncomfortably with me. If that's what it means to be ruthless, then we have to do it. And it might upset some of you. Some of you might even be scared about a Thomas Partey being sold. Here's a line for you. No player can be bigger than the club. No player stays at Arsenal forever. Players come and players will go. So if it means again, because I agree with Kevin Campbell, that if it means in order for us to go one step closer to winning the Premier League, and it means we have to sacrifice, not the right word, sell the likes of a Reece Nelson or Emil Smith Rowe, then we have to do it. We have to do it. Because A, it shows the ambition, and B, it shows the ruthlessness. Are we any closer to win the Premier League? As a general question, possibly, but we won't win it this season. But we're just focusing on this this segment here. In order for us to get Emil Smith Rowe, because actually when I read the headlines, I actually thought, oh right, he's probably talking about Eddie Nketiah, but no, he was talking about Emil Smith Rowe. Are we going to be so upset at the thought of selling Emil Smith Rowe to be ruthless in order for us to get closer to winning the Premier League. I wouldn't be upset. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. Come into a live chat and let me know your thoughts about us thinking about or having to sell an Emma Smith Rowe in order for us to get that. What are we trying to get that? We're trying to win the Premier League. Are you going to be upset about that? Not me. Not me. Not me. I wouldn't be upset. It's just one of those things. And like I've said before, there are other players in the sphere of injured, constantly injured, and are used to us. Sell them before the value depreciates. And unfortunately, I've spoken about Emma Smith Rowe even last season that if it continues like this, I mean, I know he's free, you know, he's injury free. I've not heard any news about him being injured again. But then why has he not played the last couple of games? So is it the fact that, you know, the manager doesn't trust him again, or I don't know what it is. But there are other players in that segment where we have to have the discussion. Have to have the discussion whether we're going to, you know, sell them or give them endless opportunities. Anyway, talking about players. Oh dear, transfer news. Now, according to the, what is it? The Standard, Arsenal transfer priority clear with Gunners still tracking Armando Onana and Douglas Luiz. I'll tell you now, Douglas Luiz ain't going anywhere. He's not leaving Aston Villa. He's not leaving the Villa. Now, Onana, on the other hand, there is a possibility. Now, apparently, according to the Evening Standard, Arsenal have made a strong start to the season and have the chance to strengthen their squad. We know that in the January transfer window. But the club need to balance, meeting the financial fair play. I don't think that means anything. The FFP regulations, so it's likely that they will have to sell first before they buy. Now, the Arsenal squad has been hit with injuries, with defence the most impacted in recent weeks. Mikel Arteta has also had to add more firepower in attack, but that may have to wait until the summer. Sporting director Edu will lead January transfer activity, and Arsenal will be ready to act very, very fast if needed. Now, top priorities. Due to the injuries, Arsenal should be looking first to strengthen at the back. Yorin Timber is out with a serious knee injury, while Takedo Tomashu has a calf problem and will be heading to the Asian Cup with Japan in January. Jacob Kilvor provided cover at full-back and centre-back, but beyond that, the Gunners look light. While Cedric Suarez is an option, but he will be a free agent come the summer. And Arteta has been reluctant to use academy youngsters, Real Walters. I'm not sure why. What else do we need? Well, another midfielder. I've said this. We need another midfielder. Once again, a focus on fitness issues. Thomas Partey has been out for months with a injury and heads to the African Cup of Nations of Ghana also in January. A new forward to add firepower would also be welcome. Arsenal have been scouting strikers, while they also want a winger. Again, a winger. Why? For that spot, right-sided winger. In the midfield, Arsenal are long-term admirers of Douglas Luiz, but Aston Villa are determined to keep hold of him. Douglas Luiz will not be leaving the Villa. The Guns have also tracked Armando Onana for a year and could have more luck prizing him out of Everton. Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has been scouted, but the Nigerian is not expected to leave until the summer. Wolves, a winger Pedro Neto, is also a long-term target. Now, the possible players who could be leaving. Well, there should be there's not been too many actually exits, given that the squad is a kind of light. So that's why I would want to keep him personally, given he has 6 months to run on his current contract, and it's attracting interest from Villarreal. Goalkeeper Ramsdale struggling for minutes, but is unlikely to leave Arsenal. I think Arsenal would not want to sell him. Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith Rowe could attract interest too, but again, it's hard to foresee the Gunners selling or letting go of any of these players. So that is it. So just spoken about Kevin Campbell's thoughts about possibly selling Emil Smith Rowe in order to fuel the sell or the purchase of Ivan Toney. And yeah, Armando Onana. I think I did a video about him two seasons ago, actually. Why can't we get him? If we're going to sell Thomas Partey, get him in. I mean, they're two different types of midfielders, but why not? Premier League proven, he plays in the Premier League. Why not? Why not? And Smith Rowe, don't get all emotional if it means we have to sell an Emil Smith Rowe. Personally, I'll be looking at Reece Nelson, to be honest. But again, the report says that we are a little bit light, in the squad numbers. So should we be selling any players? I'm not sure. Anyway, the last segment, spoken about an iconic captain, Frank McClintock. And some of you are probably thinking, huh? Frank McClintock, probably one of our most successful captains at Arsenal. A former Scottish international, has a birthday to celebrate today. He also worked as a sports and football pundit in his latter years. Actually, he began his career in Scottish junior football with Shawfield before earning a professional contract with English First Division side Leicester City, yes, in December of 1956. He played two FA Cup final defeats before he was sold to Arsenal. And from there, as I say, the history. Double winning side, man. Double winning side. But I have done a video, I think the video 3 years ago now, the player profile segment. I need to get back to doing that because I love doing that. But it's just been so busy. But actually, of late, I've been taking the foot off the pedal, doing a little bit less of content. So congratulations. Happy birthday to Frank McClintock, who has a birthday to celebrate actually today. So yeah, I also understand that I think his wife passed away, I think last year. So anyway, fella, many happy returns to you. So there is some games to be played later on this evening, and I will be back in how many hours time? About 9 hours time. UK time 10:15 to give you an instant post-game reaction. Arsenal versus West Ham. Please do not ask me for a prediction. You can give us a prediction if you'd like to. And actually, talking about predictions, I did put out a poll yesterday, I believe. It was yesterday. And I was asking you for your opinions about predictions. So predictions versus West Ham, choose only one. We have received a whopping 749 votes. There's been 2 comments and 28 likes. Again, your predictions. Is it going to be a win for West Ham, a win for Arsenal, or a ball draw? Well, 5% have voted for a win for West Ham. 91% voted for a win for Arsenal. And only 3% have gone for a ball draw. Yeah, I'm saying nothing. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to upset anybody. All right. Okay, let's go into the live chat and see who we have caught. Whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Anyway, live chat. So we have Junior Martin who says, oh, hello there, bro. If Arsenal can get a striker, it could add flavour to the squad. But who we're gonna get? We need a left back. Zinchenko cannot handle left back, really not effective. There be very, very interesting. Well, it's funny because when we did the Easy Talk on Friday, another name that came up, I think I've spoken about him since then, about Dusan Vlahovic. Remember? What was it last season before? He said he didn't want to come to Arsenal, then he ended up playing for the old lady, Juventus. Surely he should be in the mix. Should he not be in the discussion? So Ivan Toney, Dusan Vlahovic, or Victor Osimhen. I mean, Victor, it'll cost us a lot of money. It'll cost us a lot of money. What else do you say there? Oh, yes. So left back, yeah. As we've always said, you have to have cover in almost all the positions there. All the positions. So whether there are injuries, suspensions, or players going out on the respective competitions, so African Cup of Nations or the Asian Cup, you've got to have quality, not any player, quality covering in those positions there. So yeah, very interesting though. But I'll put it back to you, Junior. So you said that we need a striker. Who would you like Arsenal to go into the market, ideally in a January transfer window, and buy? So I'll put the question back to you. Which striker and which left back do you think Arsenal should go in the market for? Good shout, actually. Frankie de Jong or Barella? I think I did a video about Barella a few seasons ago. But Frankie de Jong at Man United, I believe. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Why not? Zinchenko can't defend. The left back is also an area we need to strengthen. Look, I already said it. I did not blame him for the goal that we conceded because he's not a left back. He's not a defender. He can play in the centre mid, left side of midfield, but as an inverted left back, he's not a defender. He's not a defender. So I destroyed Zinchenko this season. Yeah, but again, I don't blame him. Yeah, and not long ago, yes, Zinchenko should play in the midfield. And just arriving late is our moderator. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I know that he can't defend. It's a shame that Mikel Arteta doesn't know that. Do not put him in defence. It was just so easy for Salah. Just drop his shoulder, boom, top right-hand corner. But yeah, I'm not the manager. I'm not the manager. All right. Okay, we'll run for a few more minutes before we wrap up this one. And just to remind everyone that I will be back later on for instant post-game reaction. Arsenal play West Ham. It's 8:15 local time. And I'll be going live at 10:15 p.m. in the night for instant post-game reaction. Now, I'm hoping I'm going to be joined by a guest. I'm not sure, so you have to make sure you tune in that time. And the only way you can do that is if you subscribe. You've got to subscribe. But again, I'm not going to give you a prediction. I don't want to upset anybody. What else do we have? So Junior says, striker Ivan can do a good job. Left back, not easy to replace. Not sure that one Timber, if he was fit, the right fit there. Yeah. I'm not sure whether I'm being a little bit too foolhardy in thinking the price tag that Brentford have put on Ivan Toney's head. I think in the region of £60 million. Usually, when a club puts overvaluation on a particular player, that means that they don't want to sell the player. And I'm thinking £60 million for a player, top scorer for them last season before he had the band. It's a lot of money. So this is going to test if we are really serious to get Ivan Toney. This will test our resolve. If you really want the player, if we really need a player, if you believe, Mikel Arteta, that we need an out-and-out striker, go in the market, get him. Don't bother about trying to penny pinch. Oh, you know what? We think he's worth, 58. Go in there, pay the money, because it's clear the player wants to play for Arsenal. Looking at his social media post there, he wants to play for Arsenal. So again, it depends on whether really Arsenal are interested, whether Mikel Arteta can see whether he can fit in the Arsenal way, because you can see we've got Martinelli last season, Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Jesus. Those guys scoring enough goals, but not quite enough to get us over the line. And then you're thinking about bringing an out-and-out striker in the mix. Is that going to be his philosophy? For me personally, I don't believe that he wants to buy an out-and-out striker. I just don't believe it. It might surprise me. But I don't believe it. Right. I think Rafael Leao would make a good striker. Have you seen his goals? His finishing is pretty good. I haven't seen him actually. I haven't seen him. I don't want to run to YouTube and I say, oh, he could be a good striker, but I haven't. So I've got to go by your words, Christopher. Wouldn't sign Toney for £100 million though. No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So do we stick with what we have, or do we twist? Do we go out there in January and buy an out-and-out striker? And if there is a striker, please let me know which striker you believe that Arsenal should go in for. Junior says, I think Arsenal will go hard for him. When you see a player wanting to come to Arsenal, and he's always or they are always in the news, or always been linked to Arsenal, more often or not, it doesn't happen. Look at Mudryk. Mudryk made it very plainly clear he wanted to come to Arsenal. That was his destination. He did an interview with Zinchenko's wife. He wanted to come. He didn't care for how much money. Where does he play? He plays at Chelsea. So I'm just kind of getting the thing that this one might not happen. It might not happen. But you're right. I wouldn't be paying over £100 million for Ivan Toney. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So Junior said, I think Arsenal will go hard for him. It could work. Osimhen is great, but not enough knowledge about him. Yeah, I mean, I don't. This is where my knowledge or my bandwidth of European football is lacking. I know there's been lots of talk about him. I still haven't seen him play, so I don't know. All I know is it'll cost a lot of money. What happened? Yeah, money talks. Money talks, and money also silences, isn't it? It makes people talk and it makes people be quiet as well, doesn't it? Okay, just a few more minutes and we are done on this one. So let's quickly review. We spoke very, very quickly. Kevin Campbell. Oh, so let me quickly remove this. Kevin Campbell has given his thoughts about Ivan Toney. If Arsenal really, really want him, probably going to have to sell Emil Smith Rowe to generate some money as well. I imagine that people will be quite upset because you look at Emil Smith Rowe. He's hell end product, isn't he? He's struggled. I think with confidence as well as injuries. And I imagine a lot of people would be quite sad if Arsenal were to consider sending him. But like as Kevin Campbell says, Arsenal need to show a ruthless streak in them. But I was thinking, going beyond that, I'll be looking at Reece Nelson. Sending Reece Nelson. And but it would mean that the numbers of the squad would further diminish. And you've got to remember, we are in the FA Cup, in the Champions League, and we come in second place in the Premier League. So we still need the numbers. We need the numbers. And talking about numbers, I've seen recently over the last few days that Douglas Luiz of Aston Villa or the Villa and Adama Onana of Everton, the Toffees, are constantly being linked to a move to Arsenal. I can tell you now that Douglas Luiz will not be leaving the Villa. I'm telling you now. I'll put my house on it. Onana on the other end, possibly wrong end or right end or the bottom end of the Premier League, might want a move. Might want a move, and he probably would be a good replacement for Thomas Partey. Again, let me know your thoughts about that. And then we spoke about Frank McIntosh, one of the most successful, iconic captains of Arsenal, celebrates a birthday today. So Frank, happy birthday to you. And then I also said that I'll be back, 8 hours time for the instant post-game reaction, Arsenal versus the West Ham. That's right. All right, last few comments, and then we are going to wrap this one up. The Assemble's in the house. Merry Christmas or happy holidays to you, the Assembled. Good afternoon, Alex, and chat room. Apparently, Eddie will not be sold. What, have you got inside information? Who told you that? I'm saying nothing. Innocent Anthony says that goal we conceded against Liverpool was his fault. Innocent, it's not his fault, man. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. And I say that because we know that he can't defend. So why are you going to put a player in a defensive position when you know the player cannot defend? It's like saying, "Oh, you know what? I've got a problem with my sink. The sink is leaking. Let me call an electrician." Huh? If you got a leak in your sink in the bathroom, you're not going to call an electrician. You're going to call a plumber. That's the same thing that Mikel Arteta has done. We should have played Kievar at the left back position there, or Suarez, because Cedric Suarez can play right back as well as left back. He's both footed. But you can't tell me, you put a player who cannot defend in a defensive position. All right. So, any manager, good manager worth their weight in gold, would look at that and say, you know what? We're going to make the most of that position there. And that's what Jurgen Klopp did. The defenders, I'm telling you, Van Dijk and Arnold, they were pinning the balls where? To Salah. Because one-on-one Salah, Zinchenko, what's going to be the outcome? Boom, a goal. So I don't blame Zinchenko, because Zinchenko himself must be thinking, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I can't defend. I shouldn't be here. I should be in the midfield. So personally, I want to be putting a player who I know cannot defend in a defensive position there. I don't blame him. If you know, you know. I see more training that's coming out. God, daring me. Oh dear. Don't get me started. And actually, I did say that I'm not going to buy any more merchandise. I haven't bought merchandise in years. So for Christmas, what do I get? I get the Arsenal away kit for my brother. I'm not sure my brother's watching. So, brother, Ralph, thank you for the top. Thank you. Just saying, man. Just saying. All right. We have come to an end, unless there's any more comments there. And let me just quickly refresh the page and see if we have received any more votes. Any more voting. All right. So now we have 753 votes on the latest poll question. The latest poll question on our YouTube channel it's not anywhere else apart from the YouTube channel. Check out the community posts and you see all the questions that we've posted to you. This latest question is about the predictions versus West Ham later on tonight. 753 votes, 2 comments, 28 likes. Your predictions. Well, 3% believe it's going to be a draw. 5% believe it's going to be a win for the Hammers. And 91%, I think there's 1% missing there, say it's going to be a win for Arsenal. 91%, that's very, very high. Very, very high. And you know what? We have come to an end on this surprise show. The first live show after Christmas. Yeah. And I'll be back later on this evening to give you the instant post-game reaction, Arsenal versus West Ham. But thank you to you for joining me over here. And yes. Oh, quick one, last one. Observation: Arsenal are buying and selling strikers, but keeping. Yes, but I know you love Eddie Nketiah. I know you loved him. Anyhow, I will be back later on this evening in about 9 hours time, 8 hours, 9 hours time on an instant post-game reaction. But until then, this has been Canon for the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.